Hello, today we're going to look at this rug. It's very thin, it's very vibrant, it's got deep greens, lots of greens throughout, lots of reds and browns throughout. Looks like a colorful piece with a animal design, tigers. Let's take a look at the back of this, and you can see that the knot count is extremely tight, so that's one indicator to me of what this is made of. You can see that it's just the weaving, or the knot count, is extremely close. There's a lot of knots per inch on this particular piece. So already I've kind of dwelled it down to two different types of fibers that'll probably be, and I'm looking at either rayon or silk, real silk. Now something interesting in here, you can see these little fibers that are glittery. They go all the way through the rug. From certain angles you can see the glitteriness on the top of the rug, and these are threads, they're not like speckles of glitter. So I'm assuming that these are woven into during the process, or put into the rug building process rather than later. Because these knot counts are so tight, I can't see somebody injecting threads after the fact. So they probably just toss these in to make it look shinier. There's the one right there on top. There's another one. They're just scattered throughout. Here's one. Here's one. Okay, so what we're going to do next is a test to determine what type of fiber it actually is. Here's another interesting thing. You can see that the fringe is actually on the picture, if you will, is horizontal, and the fringe is also horizontal. Normally you're going to see on a rug that you'd walk on that you'd have a foot and a top of the rug, and the picture or the field would go this way. And this one's all rotated to a landscape view, so that's a pretty interesting characteristic with this rug. Also, you notice it has a brush up here. We've talked about a brush before, and that's where the colors are slightly darker or lighter, making it a banded appearance. That's a feature of this rug, I believe. I don't think this is a natural brush because it stops abruptly. It doesn't continually go through, and these are very straight all the way through the rug. They're not like lighter, darker throughout, and it's only on the reds. So I'm pretty sure that that's supposed to be there as part of a design element. Another indicator for us is this. You have these chains. So now I'm thinking, okay, this is not a rug because it's too thin. It's a horizontal picture, and it's got these hanging chains. Unfortunately, when they put the chains in, they just stuffed them right through the knots, which in some places made the hole very large. What they should have done is whip stitched a rod on the back here with a very thin needle, and then that way they could have just taken these chains off very easily for service, or to move it or roll it. Okay, so let's get to the fiber content, what this is actually made of. What I'm looking for is a loose thread on the back. There are plenty of them on the back here. I'm looking for a little bundle. I don't want to pull up from the top to pluck a fiber out. What I want to do is find a loose one on the back, one that's kind of meaty, so that I can do a good test on it. Alright, let's keep looking. There's a whole bunch of them right here. There's a big one right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my scissors and carefully cut from the back side a couple of these little strings, these little threads right here. And I'm going to keep them together like this. And now what I'm going to do is a burn test. You never do a burn test right on top of a rug or a surface that you'd like to keep, because if it drips or an ash falls off, it could burn the rug. So what we do is just put it over a piece of paper or a piece of plastic or something and burn it. Now what I'm looking for, what I'm sniffing for, is whether it smells like a protein or a plastic or what have you. Here's the leftovers from, now some of that I've held on to with the clips here, but the ash is at the very tip. See that ash at the very tip? That's an indicator for us too, that that's like a shell. It didn't burn all the way off and then, you know, up into the atmosphere. It left sort of a little skeleton for us right at the very tip there. The odor smells like a cocoon, or perhaps even a strong cotton candy that's been burned. I know that's kind of a weird thing, who burns cotton candy or cocoons, but in our industry we have to kind of, we're like sommeliers in the wine industry. We have to kind of like figure out a way that, a comparison. So we've smelled all kinds of weird things over the years to try to figure out what the fibers smell like. And that smells like a burning cocoon. A cocoon has a protein, not as strong as wool, but it's sort of a sweet protein burning smell. And that indicates to me that this is a silk rug. The majority of these fibers are all silk. It could have been rayon. Rayon, it's called art silk or artificial silk. They try to make it, some of these rugs look like silk by using rayon, which is a much weaker fiber and much cheaper. Although the retail cost of rayon is sometimes pretty high because they try to trick people into thinking it's real silk. Okay, so that identified the rug portion. What about the fringe portion of this? Some of these actually just pull right out. So we're going to take a little sample. And again, we're going to put it over our paper, clamp it in. It's not as shiny too. If you look at the silk, it all has one grain going one direction this way. And when the light hits it going this way, it's really shiny. There's no shine to this fringe at all. It's very dull. Okay, supports the flame. It has a little burning ember at the end. And it smells like wool, or I mean, it smells like burning wood to me, which indicates that it's cotton. So there's the ash from it. It's a kind of a thicker chalkiness, almost like a charcoal. And because it smells like burning paper or wood, that indicates to us that, especially on the burning paper side, that it's cotton. Our next step is actually to do a bleed test where we take our strongest product that we'd use on a silk piece, which is safe for silk, by the way, but something still could bleed potentially, even if we use the safest products. We're going to take a silk cleaning product and a cotton cleaning product and just do a simple test on it by taking a towel, and we'll just clamp it on here, clamp a piece on here of that dampened towel in an inconspicuous spot like down here, and we'll do a bleed test across all these colors, and we'll leave that clamp on there for a couple of hours, take it off and see if there's any color transfer. And then we pick the cleaning method based on our bleed tests and knowing that it's a silk rug.